So I've been in the midst of swapping in an NV4500 5-speed manual transmission out of a second gen Dodge into my 89 first gen Cummins. It's a 3/4 ton 2-wheel drive truck, and while there's plenty of resources out there as far as swapping in one of these transmissions into a 4-wheel drive truck, there's not as much for 2-wheel drive trucks. And one of the biggest problems that I ran into is a transmission crossmember, and there's little to no advice out there on the internet about what transmission mount to use, or what brackets, what kind of modifications you need to do. And roughly right now where the trans is sitting is about where it needs to be in the truck. And this trans is actually out of a 99 Dodge, so it originally did not have the speedometer housing drilled out. In the second gens, it ran the speedometer off the ABS sensor on the rear axle on the later ones, but the tail shaft housing was cast for the speedometer section, so all I had to do was basically cut through the last little bit of aluminum and then just ream it to size so I could put that in there, which is an original. That is actually a speedometer drive out of a 727 automatic. You just have to get the long speedometer gear. I have the other one out here. I do not. It's at home. But for those that are doing this, you know what I'm talking about. It's a long shaft speedometer drive gear, and yeah. So I bought the adapter and then the clip off of eBay, and then I just drilled and tapped the hole for the bolt. Once I got the speedometer drive in there. Excuse me, I'm a little slow this afternoon. Been working pretty hard on this truck. So as far as the transmission mount goes, I tried using a second gen truck mount, and that involved using this guy right here, and this was bolted up to there, and then the transmission mount would bolt to the two outside threaded holes. But the transmission crossmember there would only work if it was sitting in the bottom edge of the frame rails, not bolted up to the top. So that wasn't going to work. I didn't want to have to modify the support brackets and try and flip them around and mount them on the opposite side. Not to mention trying to drill holes in the top part of the frame rail for the brackets without having to drill some holes in the floor and then putting like body plugs in there so I can get access to them. So what I did, so that this is still retaining most of the original Dodge parts to this truck, still using the original bolt-in location, and to get it to work with this, what I ended up doing is I took the stock crossmember and I cut the front part out. So the whole entire front lip here, yeah, I could probably weld something on the bottom if need be, but I'm not too concerned about it. I mean, it's a bone stock engine in this truck. I'm not cranking big numbers or anything, so I'm not too worried about the strength and rigidity of it. It's still plenty strong with the backside and still the upright portion in here, because see, I didn't cut everything out. I just took the top off, and wide enough so then that way, because when a crossmember's like up in here, actually the tail shaft housing will actually clear in here. And then what I did is I got a transmission mount for a Chevy Turbo 350 or Turbo 400. I actually saw this from Advanced Adapters. If you go onto their website, I'll actually link it in the description below on what they suggested doing. But this Turbo 350 transmission mount actually is the right bolt spacing to bolt up to the bottom of the NV45 tail shaft housing. And again, this is for the two-wheel drive. This is only for two-wheel drive stuff. If you have a four-wheel drive truck, I don't have any advice for you here. This is only for two-wheel drive. I found some bolts at home, and when I had the Crossmember up in the truck and bolted in, and this mount screwed to the, or bolted to the transmission, took my paint marker and I put it, I drew a circle. It's corresponded with that circle there in the frame, or I shouldn't say the frame, the Crossmember. Now what I did is then I went and I drilled two holes and I oversized them. They're about the same size as these holes here, so then that way, if I unscrew one of the bolts, you can see there's room for movement, so I can get everything lined just right. And let me throw this up there quick, and I'll get a quick mock-up, and then I'll show you guys how well this will work for you. Alright, so everything's loosely bolted into place, just mocked up here. Transmission Crossmember, I mean, like, it's just hanging there, but there's still room for it to go up. And the Chevy mount is down in there, and I have the two bolts started on the bottom side of the Crossmember, and the other side's still hanging down about 1/2 inch just because I have the nuts on just a couple threads. But everything fits in there great, and you'll be able to retain the original Crossmember with the original support brackets. There's one there, the other one is right there in the pile of tools. And then it's a matter of just putting an exhaust on it. In my case, someone had put a piece of flex pipe on there, and I found out why, and it's because the intermediate pipe from there to the muffler, yeah, they don't exist anymore for the two-wheel drive trucks for whatever reason. So I'm gonna have to fabricate something myself, which is no big deal. It's easy enough to do. But yeah, that's the Crossmember situation for an NV4500 in a two-wheel drive first gen Cummins 89 to 93. So hope that helps and saves a lot of headache and aggravation of trying to figure out what to do for a trans mount and how to make it work. This is the easiest way to do it, and the best part is that Chevy TH350 or Turbo 350 transmission mount is $7 from AutoZone. The Dodge one was darn near $30. That's the part number there, 2268 for the GM mount, and that's what I suggest running. So there you guys go. Hope it helps someone and saves them some time, because I've exhausted the internet the last couple of days trying to figure this out. Like I said, the only place that I found any clues to using that mount was from Advanced Adapters. I've not seen anyone else on YouTube talk about it or in the forums. So with that being said, hope it helps someone, and I'm going to continue wrenching.